Hello everyone and welcome back to GodSaw's Turnbuckle, and today we are going to go ahead and be talking about Jey Uso and a little bit of a trend that has been going on, at least on the YouTube side and a bit on the internet side as well, especially whenever he is going after the World Heavyweight Championship, and that is that there is a lot of dislike towards it. Now I am going to point out three particular videos on here, at least ones that you can kind of make mention to. You'll see them on the thumbnail, and I'll give kind of like the like to dislike ratio for these as of at least the recording, which I did this on a Wednesday. Just as a reference as well, there is a particular plugin that you can have that will still show YouTube dislikes, even though they have technically taken that away. There is still a way to do it. And it is rather, I won't say it's 100% accurate, but it's rather accurate with the dislike ratio for particular videos. So the first one that I'm going to go ahead and bring up here is his Royal Rumble win. That was back in January. If you take a look at that video and everything, you would actually see that it is a 29,000 like to a 50,000 dislike ratio, which is not very good, especially with how the height of the popularity of Jey Uso was at that time, especially in live crowds. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But also another video that to bring up on there is his win over Gunther at WrestleMania 41, which had an 18,000 like to 52,000 dislike ratio. And then most recently, them setting up the CM Punk versus Jey Uso match at Saturday night's main event, which will be for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship, which has, as of right now, on again, I'm recording this on a Wednesday, has about a 14,000 to 79,000 like to dislike ratio. So 19,000, or sorry, not 19,000, 14,000 likes to 79,000 dislikes. Now that could have changed within this time frame as well. I'm not 100% certain because I know this will be going up at a later date. Now the thing that I want to kind of go through here is that primarily we're seeing most of this dislike on the online areas, such as YouTube video, or maybe on Twitter or anything like that as well. It's kind of more into the online sector, because if you're going to the live events itself or watching it on TV, Jey Uso does feel massively over in most of those crowds. People doing, the yeet chant and everything to go along with it. With Jey Uso, he gets a massive pop usually whenever he comes out as well. And of course, you have everything to go along with everything to go along with his entrance, everything to go along with that as well. And I'm gonna go out there and say, based upon his story, like the story that arc that Jey Uso's had, I'm actually kind of a fan of the Jey Uso character, because if you do take a look at everything that he went through in the bloodline, like the mind manipulation with Roman Reigns, heck, the entire main event Jey Uso thing, even though he was never really in the main event all that often up until recently, was kind of a mind control tactic with Roman Reigns, them setting up the first Roman Reigns and Jey Uso match back in 2020 as well. So that kind of stems back to there, and you've kind of seen like this whole mind manipulation and everything he went through in the bloodline up until the point that he was going to be on his own on Monday Night Raw as well. And you can kind of see everything, you can kind of see the reason why he's rather popular, because if you follow the entire story and get the entire story with it, it's like, yeah, you kind of feel for the guy in the fact of where he's been in terms of a character itself. Now I do feel like there has been some changing of the course, especially on the online sector. I haven't really seen it in the live crowds yet, especially leading into WrestleMania 41, and even to a certain degree WrestleMania 40 as well, with his match with Jey Uso, or sorry, not Jey, but his brother Jimmy Uso for that. And it was, well, to say not a very good match Yeah, it wasn't a very good match because it was a whole bunch of super kicks, a spear, and a story beat where Jimmy was trying to beg for forgiveness and saying that he was sorry, and then turned his back on his brother yet again mid match, which led to the end of the match. It wasn't a very good match. Let's be fair about that. Now, some of these other videos that I'm kind of making mention to, these matches were actually quite good. Like his match with Gunther at WrestleMania 41, I thought was rather good. Of course, the Royal Rumble match, it was the Royal Rumble. That was a very fun match and a very good surprise as well, to at least to me, to go along with it. And then also his Battle Royal win, which was, again, it's a Battle Royal. I do kind of like those style matches, so I did find that match to be kind of fun. Now, one of the reasons why I make mention leading into WrestleMania 41 is that there was a probably kind of a discourse, because there was a particular Monday Night Raw where he kind of messed up a bunch of his different moves within a particular match. Now, they did play that off quite well in terms of a story that he was getting into his own head and he was messing things up, but he did, quote unquote, botch a few moves on a particular Raw, which did kind of lead to a lot more discourse in an online sector. Again, it didn't really lead into anything in the live crowds, and it's another thing for that as well. It feels like it is two different sectors of the fan bases that have the particular feelings towards Jey Uso. It does feel like that there is a little bit more of a dislike discourse in the online section, and then there's also not so much of that in the live crowd itself, because again, you see his reactions, the fans are interacting with him the entire time, people always doing the yeet chant to go along with it, and also the waving of the arms for that during his entrance as well. So that has not actually changed, though if we have seen in terms of his character progression and him listening to Roman Reigns again, Roman Reigns is getting into his head and he's doing a few heel tendencies here and there as well. So I do feel like if they decide to go a route of a heel character, obviously it's something like that would probably change inside the live crowd, but I don't necessarily see that unless they go with a full heel character on this one. Like you can always make mention to it, like, he's left LA Knight to get beaten up a few times. His stuff with CM Punk to go along with it as well. He kind of did the same thing to them, and also he was doing honestly what you would consider the proper thing to do in a Fatal 4-Way, every man for themselves in the Fatal 4-Way match. And again, he did it in the Battle Royal as well, but it came off as a slight heel tendency towards it, not like a full heel character change, but that tendency. Like he got his brother Jimmy had saved him multiple times in the Battle Royal, but the first chance that Jey got, he eliminated Jimmy Uso, even though and he was kind of going based off of what happened in a backstage area with him and Jimmy, where Jimmy kind of said, hey, I'm gonna go after everybody, including you, in this Battle Royal. But then they kind of play it off as, Jimmy was very upset with Jey for what he did in that section, in that particular part of the Battle Royal, even though Jimmy had saved him a few different times. So if we do get a full heel character, yeah, you're going to see that change. But up until now, I don't really see, it's more or less an aspect of the fan bases, like people who are in the live audience and people who are watching at home are kind of split on what is going on. Mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. Jey Uso has been wildly over in the crowd, in the live crowds itself. Honestly, probably doing quite well with the merchandise side of everything. It's one of those areas, like, this would be also for a completely different video, but it's kind of like what a lot of people have said about Cody Rhodes since he came back to WWE. He was wildly popular, and then it's like, oh, eventually everybody's just gonna turn on him. Which again, he's still wildly popular, and it's the same goes for Jey Uso at this point in time as well. So is the hate real for Jey Uso, or is this just an online thing? Or is it one of those sectors that the online base is maybe ahead of what the live crowds are at? Or is it just or is it going to be just a forever kind of split thing until they change Jey Uso's character to be a heel, where the live crowds love him and the internet not so much? That's kind of where we're at with this, and honestly, that's my thought process at this moment in time, is that we're not really gonna see a change in terms of how people feel in the online section, and then how people feel in the live crowd section, until they actually do a full heel turn with him. And that is a good possibility based upon how he has been acting recently in terms of a character to go along with that. So that is kind of where my thoughts are for with everything with Jey Uso at this moment in time. Feel free to leave a comment down below as well, how you're feeling about Jey Uso. Do you feel like it's an online only thing? Is it going to be something that it kind of gradually changes over time and sprinkles into the live crowd? Or is it something where it doesn't, where hate towards Jey Uso or him being booed doesn't happen until he becomes a heel itself with the live crowds itself? So again, feel free to leave that comment down below. Feel free to like the video if you liked everything as well. Subscribe to the channel if you so wish. And with that being said, I hope you all take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.